After 40 years of service, Rev Mark Chuck was leaving the All-Grace Newport Church. During this tenure, the membership of the church exploded. His replacement was 35-year-old Bobby Dart, who had served as an assistant to Duff for 5 years. Many were sad to see Chuck go, but they took consolation in the fact that Dart would follow in the footsteps of his mentor. And he did for the first 6 months before introducing changes in the church. He appointed people to positions not based on worldly standards, like education, wealth, and influence, but on what he called the standard of God. That ruffled a few feathers. Then, one Sunday, Duff announced that the church had excess funds in its account. He said he couldn't accept the church to be wealthier when most of its flock were wallowing in poverty. Some applauded his transparency and lauded the actions he outlined. A few others laughed and dismissed his proposal. But true to his word, after church, Mr. Duff gave an envelope to everyone who attended church that day. Many were shocked when they opened the envelope and found money in it. The people were confused. They could not come to terms with the church giving them money. So instead of going home, they remained in church to find out what this money was all about. Mr. Duff addressed the congregation to clear their doubts. The church is to take care of the people and not the people taking care of the church. Besides, I want to take this church on the path of the New Testament church. He quoted the book of Acts to support this viewpoint. All the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. We must be known for sharing our resources and caring for the needs of one another. What I have done today shall continue. Our Sunday offerings will be accumulated and shared equally among the congregation. Those who put in 100 may get 1/10 of that, and those who put in 1/10 may get 10-fold. Is that unfair? Mr. Duff asked, but no one spoke. I don't think so. When you give 100 and receive 1/10, that is a 10% return on investment. But more than that, you have blessed many others. The Deacon Board complained about the orthodoxy of Reverend Duff's methods. Many of the wealthy people also complained that the token amount given to them was insulting. Many left the church, and the church's coffers began to dwindle. This bothered the Deacon Board, but not Mr. Duff. The number of poor people increased astronomically, while the wealthy decreased. Mr. Duff told those who remained how God loved them and wanted them to be somebody. He encouraged them to continue to share whatever they had. More than that, he wanted them to work together to shame the devil. He galvanized the people into farming and other economic adventures. Soon, those who once considered themselves poor began to see the fruit of their effort. They continued to bring more into the storehouse of the Lord, so that there was sufficient meat for everyone. The church grew beyond proportion, and so did its reputation. Soon, many of the wealthy people were once again creeping into the church to renew their membership. Mr. Duff and the congregation welcomed them with opened arms, but under one condition. All their contributions to the church will no longer be in the form of money. Now, they must provide service to the church. They must join the labor force of the church to clean, work on the farm, preach the word of God, visit the sick, and feed the homeless. This demand was considered too much by many of the wealthy people. Most of them left and never returned. Soon, the truth was out. It is more difficult to serve God through service than money. Thanks for watching. If you're eager for more thrilling short stories, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to be the first to dive into our next exhilarating adventure.